story time of the first time I ever got a tattoo, and yes, I was 16, which if you didn't know is illegal in the state that I live in. This is said tattoo. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. The reason that this story is significant is because it was such a sketchy situation. I was 16 and homeless, and my mother literally wanted to unalive me. Basically, me and my mom were going through a time where we were not getting along at all. Like, she was unmedicated with bipolar, and I was a angsty 16-year-old. I wanted to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it, and she wanted to read the Bible and talk about politics all the time. Like, if you're familiar with bipolar and psychosis, like, you know, if you know, you know, if you don't, you don't. And my mom and me were literally going at it, and like, my mom is an older Italian lady, so you know, like, she doesn't stop. Fight was like something out of an action movie. I was throwing fans, she was chasing me up the stairs, like, it was bad. Finally, I say to her, I'm moving out, like, I'm done living here, like, blah. I think she thought I was bluffing because I ended up calling my aunt, and I was like, I'm moving out, can you come pick me up? Can I stay with you for a little while? Aunt comes and picks me up, and I think my mom thought like I would only be there a few days and then I'd get over it, or she would get over it and we'd make up, but that was like not the time I was on. I was actually just like, I'm actually moving out, this is ridiculous. It was toxic. I started living out of the spare bedroom in my aunt's house, and honestly, like, anything goes there. Like, I could pretty much do whatever I wanted. Healthy, and I would have done it differently now, but I was 16 and I wanted to do my own thing. At the same time, I became obsessed with the fact that I was a Gemini. Like, I was so into looking at my horoscope. I believed everything it said. I literally broke up with my boyfriend because my horoscope told me to, which is a whole other story. In my head, I'm like, what is the craziest thing I can do that will piss my mother off the absolute most? Get a tattoo. I'd had a few friends that I knew of that had gotten tattoos, and I was like, I wonder how they did it. So I asked them, and they told me about this sketchy ass tattoo shop that was in the city. This tattoo shop was like in the corner of the city next to a gas station, and they served minors. So like, you can only imagine. I decided to make friends with this girl that was like 2 years older than me, and she was like known for just being a bad kid. She also had her license and was dating my ex-boyfriend, so I was like, perfect storm. Let's make more stories, baby. So I call her up and I'm like, hey, you want to take me to get a tattoo? Like, you have a license, let's go. She tells me she's been having sexy time with one of the guys that works there and that he would get me in there easy. I was like, perfect. I want to get this tattoo that I found on Pinterest, which is such a coming of age. Like, a Pinterest tattoo of your zodiac sign is just like a coming of age. Post the Pinterest tattoo on Facebook and I say soon emoji, tattoo emoji. My mom thought I was bluffing again because like, where am I gonna get this tattoo? No, I wasn't bluffing. I walk up into this tattoo shop with this girl and there's Chihuahua puppies everywhere. Chihuahua poop everywhere. I walk up and I'm like, hi, I'm here for my appointment. And this guy like literally looks at me and he goes, okay, back room. I'm like, what? By the way, if you couldn't tell, this is a very traumatic time of my life. I'm having anxiety spots already. He starts the tattoo, and obviously I don't know how tattoos feel at the time. I just so happened to pick my rib cage for my first tattoo. Not a wise decision. In the middle of the tattoo, he literally looks at me and he's like, how old are you? And of course I'm like 18, duh, like I'm 18. He literally looks at me and goes, no, you're not, but that's fine. Just don't let your mom sue us. Well, my mom had other plans, so go to part 2. I'm so sorry. Part 2 of the story time of the first time I ever got a tattoo at 16 while I was homeless. Against my mother's will. He gets done with a tattoo and I'm literally bleeding everywhere, like an obscene amount. I've never bled that much during a tattoo since. Makes me know he was kind of unexperienced, obviously, because the tattoo also turned out like shit. Go home and I have like saran wrap. It's not even like poly wrap or whatever they call it. It's just saran wrap taped to me, which is kind of normal. But at the same time, I was like gushing blood, so like maybe let it get a little bit of air, you know? I get home and like I said, I'm living with my aunt and my little cousin, so like I have to keep this kind of hidden. While I wanted my mom to eventually find out, I didn't want her to find out right away because I didn't want her to like know who took me or where I went, like all of that. My aunt decides that it's the perfect weekend for a little boating getaway, so we're gonna go spend the weekend on her father's boat, which means like bathing suits, salt water, everything you shouldn't do with a tattoo. I show my little cousin, I'm like, girl, you cannot tell anyone, and honestly, she's loyal, she didn't tell anyone. I'm on this boating getaway, and I'm like wearing a flannel the whole time. Like, is not like me. I love to swim, like I love to be naked, like obviously I would normally not do that. Aunt's best friend happens to notice the tattoo, and she's like, when did you get that? Like, that is so cute. Like, OMG, do not tell my mother, do not tell my aunt. I'm literally gonna die right now. Of course, the girl told my aunt. My aunt found out like right away. Honestly, she thought it was cute, but she knew like this is gonna get infected. Like, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. This boosted my little head because I'm like, okay, everyone's on my side. Like, I can post about my tattoo now. I decided to have my little baby 13-year-old cousin take a picture of me in my bikini with my tattoo hanging out so that I could post it on Instagram. Obviously, my mom sees this and I'm getting blown up. She's turning my phone off. I'm going into the Sprint account and then turning my phone back on. I like changed the phone password so she couldn't log into her own Sprint account. Yeah, did I ever say I was a good kid? No, I was a bad kid. Finally, she says like, I'm suing this tattoo shop. Like, I know where you got it done. I'm just sitting there like, wow, that's actually exactly what the guy asked me not to do. So mom ends up posting a Facebook post about how they served me underage and like all this stuff. And a bunch of people are saying like, oh my God, my kids had that happen too. Pretty sure she went on Google and left like a bad review about how they like illegally breed puppies inside the tattoo shop and serve minors. But the tattoo shop ended up closing down. A few weeks, but me and my mom honestly made up, and then I moved back in for a little while before she ended up losing the house and I was homeless again. I'd go through that whole like, I'm gonna get it removed for you thing, and I was like, no you're not. I'm literally like such a baddie. Like, you're not removing my perfect tattoo. The tattoo's so bad. It's so bad. They have since opened up a new shop with the same name, but they only do piercings. And their piercings cost $10. So I only can imagine. I have a full sleeve and a bunch of tattoos, and my mom doesn't care and she loves them. Moral of the story, don't get a tattoo when you're underage, especially behind your mom's back. Okay, quick story time on the time that I broke up with my boyfriend because my horoscope told me to. I think a lot of people have done this. I feel like I've seen story time similar to this, but yeah, I'm a little bit nuts. At the time of this, I was working at Zoomtan and I was like really into my horoscope. I had just found out like what my moon sign was and my rising sign, and it became my whole personality. I have a Libra moon and a Scorpio rising, and so does my sister, which is so weird. I had been going through like a really rough patch, honestly, and my job was going so terribly. Like, I hated my job. It was the worst job ever. We were going through a rough patch because we were living in different cities, so we were doing the long distance thing and it just wasn't like doing us any justice. I was working at this shitty ass Zoomtan. Zoomtan is like this tanning bed place where I live, and like I don't even tan. I definitely did use the free spray tan while I worked there though, because that was amazing. Now I just self tan because I'm not spending $40 on a mildly problematic spray tan that also is shitty and orange. Anyways, I was going through like a really bad body dysmorphia phase, and I was wearing sports bras with every outfit. Like, I've always been that way. I've never wanted to look like I had big boobies. My manager literally texted me saying like, you need to start wearing real bras to work because your sports bra's been like showing, like peeking through your shirt. And I got the text and I'm reading and I'm like, there's no way this manager is like telling me what undergarments to wear. When I get this text, I'm with my friend Kelly, and me and Kelly are like the worst influences on each other. Like, we just run rampant when we're together. Read the text to my friend Kelly and she's like, that's not even legal. Like, how are they telling you? That's like sexual harassment. As we're talking about it, as I'm reading it, I get like a little notification from my horoscope app that I had that said something, the job and people in your life are holding you back, let go of them. Something along those lines. And I was like, OMG. Like, no way. This sparked an immediate conversation with my best friend Kelly, and I'm telling her about my Libra moon and how I'm like so independent and like I don't need any of this because I have a Libra moon. And she looks at me and she's like, go quit right now. Give them your keys right now. And I'm like, I'm giving them my keys right now. So we literally immediately drive to my job and I hand them my keys, curse them out, and leave. But I had to take it one step farther. I'm like, you know what? It said relationships too. So I like urgently text my boyfriend at the time, God bless his heart, and tell him like, we're done. This isn't working. With very little to no explanation other than the fact that I'm a Libra babe. Like, imagine that, please, for a second. Your girlfriend breaks up with you because she has a Libra moon. Please imagine it. This is like a consistent trend in my life. Like, I heard something at church once that told me I needed to break up with my boyfriend, and I did it. Different boyfriend, different time, but still did it. I've never claimed to be like normal. Like, I am nuts. Okay.
I'm 20 years old and I've been with my 35 years old boyfriend for 1 year. He proposed marriage and I want to say yes, but my mom thinks it's a bad idea to get married now. This is not my story, by the way. It was sent to me on Instagram. Now, I finished senior high school 3 years ago. My mom wanted me to go to the university, but I didn't want to because I've never really had any interest in school. All I've ever wanted is to get married to a rich man, become a housewife, and have beautiful kids together. And by God's grace, my boyfriend is very rich. He's more than capable of taking care of me and my kids for the rest of our lives. But my mom thinks if I don't want to go back to school, I should at least learn a vocation. She wants me to go into either hairdressing or clothes designing, but I'm not interested in any of them. She thinks it will be best for me to make my own money before I get married. But like I said before, my boyfriend is rich, so there will be money available for me. Also, he wants me to be a housewife, not a working wife. He loves me and he has promised to take care of me for the rest of my life. I need my mother's blessings to get married. I've told her this is what I want, but she doesn't seem to understand me. She keeps saying I'm too young to get married and that I need to make my own money in the marriage should in case something happens. It's as if she's already praying for something bad to happen in my marriage. She doesn't know my boyfriend like I do. I trust and I believe in him. My mom raised me alone and she sacrificed a lot for me, so I don't want to go behind her back to get married. I want a blessing. How do I convince her to accept this marriage? This follower needs your advice, babes. Please drop some below.
I'm a bad guy for telling my roommate that my dancing pole is staying in the living room. A few months ago, I decided to take up pole dancing. I told my roommates that I was thinking about getting one and installing it in the living room, and they said go ahead. Side note, we had no furniture in the living room, so it was installed in an empty room. A little while later, I got a couch off Facebook Marketplace, and then my roommate got a TV for the living room. Right after we got the TV, she demanded that the pole be moved so that the couch and TV could fit in the corner where the pole already was. I was confused because the couch was already placed close to the center of the living room, and now there was an outlet available for the TV in front of the couch. And she says that she wants a cozy nook and that's why. The pole is very difficult to move and install. She wanted it in the hallway and I said I couldn't tell if there's a stud there. Because of those reasons, I told her I would not be moving the pole. She didn't respond well to this and contacted the rental property company, told them that we have an unauthorized dancing pole that no one agreed to, and then they came and told me I had to remove it. I was obviously pissed because she snitched, so I took the couch since I own it. So am I the bad guy here?